However, we've got a significant change in terms of the actual capability going down from 450 to 129, I think was the number, in terms of actual vehicles. I understand that there are fixed overheads and training, but that's a really significant change in terms of the scope and in terms of what you would assume would be the capability that comes out of this. And I am really I am concerned that that hasn't been reflected in the cost, and I agree with the Deputy Chair's position that that probably wouldn't meet the pub test. And I wonder if there is anything you can tell us more about how it is that that didn't actually change, that will reduce the costs when it went from 450 to 129 vehicles.
I might just start with the original budget sort of window for this wasn't, an exact dollar. It was between $18 billion and $27 billion. I might just get that checked. So that was for 450 vehicles. When the vehicles were reduced down to 129, the budget now is around $7 billion for the vehicles. So when you look at the full costs, we have reduced, obviously, aligned to that budget reduction from 450 to 129. Some of those overheads are immovable. They remain present for 129 and for 450 vehicles. But as we went through the process of reduction of the vehicles, we also ensured that there was a contract price that we did with, obviously, Home Air Defence Australia, and then there's the full project price. So if you look at the changes in that, you'll see in the ANAO report, it talks about the reduction between 450 to 300 to 129. At all times during that, we reduced the costs based on those reduction in vehicles. So that's the end result is 129 vehicles. There's a contract element with Hanwha around the $4.3 million mark and the $7 billion, which is the overall budget for the project.
Right, thank you. And obviously you've read the ANAO report, which raises a number of issues around the procurement process. Are there factors in there that you accept Defence could have done better and that we'll learn from in future procurements?
That is correct. So the two recommendations that the ANAO provided have been accepted by Defence. One refers to bringing advice to government on options in regard to mature capabilities and MOTS capabilities. On that first point, I might hand over to General Vague to talk to you about what's been now included in the Defence capability system. Then I might hand over to Nick Plowman to talk to you about the second recommendation about invoice payments. But I'll hand over to Richard first.
Yep. Thank you very much for the question. So on the last year, the government announced that it was going to undertake a wholesale reform of the Defence capability system. That work's been undertaken after an independent review was conducted and the recommendations were passed to government. Part of that was a reframing of how we do and manage, acquire, define needs and conduct Defence capability development within Defence. That led to the release of a new Defence capability system manual on the 1st of July. That now sets out a whole range of rules that we must follow as we go through the development of new capabilities. I am now mandated, as we develop new capabilities, as we come forward for our first presentation or a Gate 1 or a first pass consideration, we must demonstrate that we have considered military off-the-shelf options or commercial off-the-shelf options, and then provide reasoning for why we haven't progressed military off-the-shelf or commercial off-the-shelf options for further consideration. It doesn't mean we've got to bring them through the whole system, but we've got to demonstrate that we've actually gone through and conducted that consideration. The reasoning for that's pretty simple. A military off-the-shelf option or a commercial off-the-shelf option is generally the fastest way to a minimum viable capability.
Thank you. One of the other issues that ANAO raised certainly with us, I think it was in the main document, with regard to the procurement process was the disclosure of relative importance of evaluation criteria during the process, which is fairly standard. Is that something that will be addressed, or do you accept that recommendation? I guess is a good start. And then if so, is that something that will also be addressed, so that determination in advance of the various criteria?
Thank you. Thank you. The ANAO did make some observations regarding that evaluation criteria methodology, and I will ask my colleague Nick Plowman to talk a bit more about how we approach the tender evaluation of projects of this nature. But I would say the other recommendation from the ANAO involved the payment of invoices. So perhaps that might be the area that we can assist you with, about ensuring that invoices are paid within the government policy at the time, and what has been done to address that issue.